Please go ahead, sir.
You're asking me or Sanjeev
Yes,
sir?
yes,
Sorry.
yes. So very good evening to all present today in this our web series that is exclusive for this alumni web series. I'll take this opportunity. It's an honor and privilege to have a Om Prakash Sahu on this as a speaker end. So on behalf of this ICFI Tech School, I first uh, take the permission from Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Registrar Sir, Dean ICFI Tech School, my dear colleagues and lovely students. I'm happy to inform that our alumni batch 2008-12, Mr. Om Prakash Sahu is agreed to deliver a technical talk on very trending technology topic that is relevant to this Python. The Python is a programming language which is highly in the demand in the data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other technology which is as per required in the industry. So, Mr. Om Prakash Sahu, he has an experience of 8 years in the IT industry and currently works as a app systems engineer at level 4 in a very high reputed American leading industry, Wells Fargo, Hyderabad. His experience lies in the business intelligence, microstrategy developer, architect, and data warehouse. He has a number of certification with him and expertise. So I'll not take much time from our side. I would like to utilize the full flesh this insights as the topic we have selected as per the South suggested, sir. We should give the full flesh how exactly the Python is getting used in this corporate world and why it is in high in the demand. Though there are number of languages right from C, C++, object oriented like your frameworks, .NET, C sharps, number of things are, but why this whole corporate and utilizing for this data analysis, machine learning and AI is everybody is talking on that Python. So I'll welcome Prakash Sahu. Om Prakash, please take this session is yours. Please start the session.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. First of all, thank you, Sanjeev sir, and the entire team of ICFI University. Let me know once you're able to see my screen, and then we'll be getting started. I think, yeah, am I audible?
Yes,
And
perfect.
yeah,
Loudly.
thank you, sir. So first of all, I would like to thank Sanjeev sir and the entire ICFI Tech University for giving me the opportunity to present a session on Python. So let us get started on this. Today I'm going to cover insights of the Python. So I'll be definitely covering the basics of Python as well for the newcomers or who are like not so much aware of the technical terms or the programming languages or who are from the C, C++ or Java background and some realistic application. I'll be covering couple of, at least I would say 5 to 10 different applications if the time permits. So as and when you need me, I have already mentioned my email ID, Twitter and LinkedIn handle. So reach out to me at any point of time. Do not hesitate. If you have any questions or concerns or any kind of help, if you need in any of the technologies. As sir already mentioned, like not only the Python, but my expertise is on the data warehouse and BI and other uh, parts of the technical domain. So today we are going to first cover the basics of the technology. We are going to brush up our knowledge in case we are not like familiar with the technology or we forgot about it. Then I will be having one online quiz. It will be a live quiz. So take this seriously and listen properly so that you could rank higher in the quiz because the quiz will be like on the live you can see like who is scoring what. So grab this opportunity to score highest in the quiz. And then I'll be talking about the real life scenarios and also how we can plan for the certifications in Python. So before I start, let me introduce myself as sir has already introduced. Uh, my name is Om Prakash Sahu. I started my schooling in Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. And after that, one of the biggest decision or the life-changing decision of my life, apart from Navodaya Vidyalaya, was to join ICFI Tech Dehradun. And I'm really proud to say like I joined the college and because of which on my first attempt, I cleared the interview for Capgemini and then I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk about my current profession, so I'm stopping here. But yeah, I just want to tell you, like, I'm, as sir mentioned, like I'm AC4 at the same time having the title of assistant vice president in one of the multinational company in Hyderabad. So it's a very very big captive company, and yeah, work life balance and everything is so good. As in, yes, you can see in my picture. I have my beautiful wife and my daughter Aishwarya with me. So probably we can get started without wasting time. So can somebody tell me like why we are talking about Python when we have, as already sir mentioned, like we have C, C++, Java and all. Okay, before we going into that, let's understand like why do we need to learn something? We already learn C, or most of the people have already learned, or C++ or Java or .NET or COBOL or Pascal or mainframe. So why do we need to learn anything new? So can somebody tell what this picture is telling about? If you can see, it's a bridge. It's called as the Choluteca Bridge. It's one of the finest bridge, and it's in America. So what happened is after a lot of effort, actually, these people created this bridge, and this bridge was so strong that nothing can damage it. So what happened is on the same year, actually, when they created this one and inaugurated, a very big thunderstorm came. And what happened is, if you see the first image, the river was flowing beneath the bridge. But after this thunderstorm and whatever the calamity came, the bridge remains intact, but water flowing is started from out of the bridge. So that's why it's called as a bridge to nowhere. So that's why you never know what is going to happen in your technology or your life. So that's why it's important to like keep progressing, keep learning, and keep doing something good. So the moral of the story, can somebody read this line? Anyone who is not muted?
Let me make one of students unmute.
Yeah. Can somebody read this one, what is written? It's written, intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. So you never know, like we are already facing COVID-19, right? So how the situation is changing, and based on that, how we have to change ourselves is what makes us better. Otherwise, if we start crying like, okay, something COVID has come, I have lost my job, I have lost my school, I have lost my college and all that. So this is not going to help us. And that's why it's important to like how we mold ourselves as per the situation. So when we talk about Python, uh, there is like I would tell this into the like a non-technical term first, and then I will tell in the technical term. So if you have seen written this kind of codes in your C, C++, Java, if somebody asks you to swap two integers, what you will do? You will say like a equal to a plus b, you will assign both the variables, then summation of two variables, then a lot of this kind of code, right? You will be writing. But in sorry, in Python, it's as simple as like a comma b equal to b comma a, and the value will be swapped. So Python is so easy tool that you can write some couple of lines of code, and it's so powerful that it's being used in almost everywhere. If you see the graph how the Python has captured the market, you will see like it's one of the trending technologies because of the booming in the AI ML field, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and at the same time like website design using Django and Flask framework. So this is the reason why we are going to learn Python. And if you are using any kind of technology, you know, like you need one integrated development environment. There are a lot many, and the seventh one, which is ideally, which comes by default with Python. And but I would prefer you to use Jupyter Notebook, which comes under the Anaconda distribution. Anaconda distributions look something like this. And the reason why I'm asking you to use Anaconda is because you do not need to explicitly any of the required modules of the software or the class or the package or anything. It will automatically be having the required things for you, like Spider will be there, Jupyter Notebook will be there, PyCharm will be there. So whatever you need in order to work in Python, in order to create a website, or in order to doing machine learning, everything you will be getting into this Anaconda. So Anaconda is one of the distribution for Python, and it's very much useful actually. Hope it is fine. I'll just quickly go through the theory part very quickly because I don't want to waste much time here. But let me know in case you have any issues or any concerns. So as you know, like if you're writing C++, Java, first you will write a class, then within it you will define one method, public static void main, and then you will write the code, and then you will get the output system.out.println or C out or C in, whatever you'll do. But in Python, if you just write like 2 plus 3 into 4, it will automatically give you the output. And any kind of variable you can change it to any other type, so easy in Python. Otherwise you need to like, if you have defined one particular type of object in one particular format, say for one variable, I have defined int I equal to 10, then I cannot assign the value of a string or decimal onto that, right? So that's the beauty of Python. If I am assigning Andrew as name into this variable called name, then in the same variable I can assign some other value. I can assign 1.2345, whatever. So let me have a quick discussion on these things, like the background of Python. I'm sure you must be aware. It was created in late of 1980s by Gaudev and Rossum, and because of as we talked about AI/ML part, it's booming into the market now. So data types we all know, like int, float, character. I'm not going to talk, but the other type or the data structure, which is very much important or quite different from other technologies in Python, is we call it like list, dictionary, tuples. So let's have a quick talk on this one. So as it is mentioned, like list, I'm sure you must be aware, like we can give a heterogeneous data, we can collect, we should know actually why we need some particular thing. So assuming like you want to get some particular details about say thousands of people. So every time you cannot assign one particular variable. If you are giving name or address as one variable, and then you assign one people value, then again for the another people you need another value. And that's why it's important to have one data structure where, which we call it like array or linked list in other programming language. But when we talk about Python, it will be like list, dictionary, and tuples. So you can see like in list, I can give one value, I can give multiple values, I can give decimal, numerical value, and the string. All together we can give, and the inbuilt functions. And the Python is actually very good tool, not only because of the support to AIML, but also because of the huge library. And I'm sure everyone knows like it's an open source. So open source is something like when everything is available to you free of cost, and you have like all the license, so you just need to explore it and do some kind of creativity, and you can bring out anything out of it. So that is the beauty of Python. And the list, where you must be aware like how we declare, how we can get the length of this list, and how we write this one. So I won't talk much about just about the indexing. I will tell like Python indexing starts from 0 to n minus 1. So it will be always starting from 0 and it will go to n minus 1. So if I have like, say for example, in the previous example, if you see Ben, Chen and Yakin is there, three people, then the value will be 0 for Ben, 1 for Chen and Yakin for 2. And there is another thing, like if you want to reverse from here, then it will be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So that's what you can see the output as well. These are the important concepts. So I'm just quickly briefing you. And this is the beauty of Python, like using the range or giving the particular, you must be aware in and not in operator. You do not need to write a lot of lengthy codes in Python, but just using the few particular defined keywords and all your things will be done. So you can stop me any point of time. I know, like I'm sure you must be aware of this one, so that's why I'm not discussing much on details, but just quickly want to review you people, and so that we can get started with the actual hands-on or the proper real life use cases. So one thing here I want to tell you is like if you see this Andrew is assigned to the variable as, and then I'm trying to assign s of 0 to a. So I'm sure you must be aware like string and tuples are immutable. That means you cannot change the value of that particular object, but it is possible to assign it to some other variable. And that's why you can see like if I'm taking the capital A and starting this list from s of 1 to n minus 1. So it will, if you see, this zero position is being kept by a, the small a, and which is being replaced by capital A. So this way we can change, but we cannot directly assign the value in case of strings and tuples. Then I'm sure you must be aware of about this special characters, new line, tab, and backslash. One thing that we need to remember in Python is, especially when you're working in Windows, I'll show you, like, because the backslash is considered as a directory in the Windows system, and that's why it's recommended to use double slash, so that your backslash will be considered when the Python is reading this one. Then we can see a couple of commands in list, like append, delete, sort. I'm sure you must be aware about this one, so I won't be taking much time here. But if somebody want to explain, I can do that. Let me know. Is everyone comfortable having the basic knowledge of Python till list, tuples, and dictionary, or somebody want me to explain this? All right, if no questions, I will consider like everyone is quite champion in Python and able to understand the difference between tuple, list, and dictionaries. As I just mentioned, like tuple, it's kind of a list only, but you can say like it's a immutable list. So as I mentioned, the immutable, like you cannot change the value, but you can give any kind of values. Like if I'm giving 1 comma, then also it's correct. It's going to give the value into the variable 1. And if I'm giving like, let me show you. It's becoming little, yeah. Let me show you this tool. This is called Anaconda. I need to little keep in such a way that it's at least I am able to see. So this is the Anaconda distribution of Python, and I have opened Jupyter notebook. And if at all I want to write anything, normally the Python saves the file into .py format. But if it is a Python notebook, sorry, the Jupyter, then it will be like .pynb. So it will be automatically saved with the name like pynb. So you can see like it's being saved, and I'll show you later like how the format is as a pynb. I'm sure you might be aware about this. So let me go to slide. Yeah. So what I was showing here is, in case if you take one example of this particular variable. So this is a variable and I'm giving the value like this one. I'm just giving only one value. So this is also fine. And if you want to print this or give this an output, you can see like how the values is stored. So Python, you can change the value at any point of time. The same value, if I change this one now to something else, I can do this. So this is now my string. And next, if I want to change it or see this, I can see like the value is changed. It's changed to string now. Sorry. Yeah, so that is the beauty of Python. Like you can assign anything, you can play around, and yeah, it's really very good tool. And if you see this one, like this is very useful. Actually, I have used this multiple times in my project when I need to connect to one database. Normally, when you're working into the industries, you will be working with either big data or Teradata, those kind of database. So you need to connect to the server and get those values, and then using those value, you need to do kind of say calculation or doing some kind of like any kind of activities on top of what the result you already faced. So this kind of things, percentage is percentage 1.1f. I'm sure you might be aware, but in case you want, let me quickly run this for you. So you will see like you do not need to write much. You just do this one and you will be able to uh, get this in Python. So Python is any object oriented like any other programming language, but you do not have dependency to write a class or define a method and do all this. So you can see like we have given percentages so that these values can be Andrew can be taken, then Sweden can be taken, and this value can be taken. And I'm sure you must be aware like how this x dot y f, when we write it, like it is a floating point, and how the accuracy and the precision is. So here we are taking the precision as 1, and that's why you can see like 15.7 is chopped out to the 15.7. The actual number was 15.7056. So Python will automatically take care based on what you're writing. Then zipping, nothing so new actually in Python. Take to list and then zip together, merge together. A lot of functions are there. Dictionaries, as you might be aware, like it's a key value. I think it's called hash map in Java. I forgot almost, but yeah, this is one of the finest or very good, what to say, data structure in Python. And recently in the dictionary from Python 3.9, which is launched 5th of October, there is a union operator which has been brought into the Python 3.9 onwards. So I haven't kept this, but if you need, I can show the demo at the last if we have time. But that is very, very useful features of Python, like how we are able to do the big calculation or the things using a very small line of codes. So I'm sure you must be aware, like in dictionary, we have keys and values, and keys cannot be duplicated, and that's why like uh, you can see the example. The other only thing I want to tell you here is like how dictionary and set are different. So normally if you see, set is like any other set that we have seen either in database or in mathematics. So if you write like x equal to 1 comma 3, let me show the difference, because many people I have seen like they are a bit confused on this part. So let me do this a little. Let's move this here. So if I write any set like this one, it's a blank one, right? So you will feel like it's a set. But if I check the type of this one, then you will be surprised to see it's a dictionary. So if you see here in the slide, the set and dictionary both are written like very similar to one another, right? And that's why the owner or the author of this one, Gordon, suggested like if you want to create an empty dictionary, then sorry, empty set. This is an empty dictionary actually. But if you want to create empty set, then you have to use the function like directly set. Y equal to, if I say type sorry, set and then the bracket, then it will create one blank set for me. And let me show you the type of y. So see here, this is the difference, and like very much asked in the interview. So do remember like how empty dictionary and empty sets are different. So maybe I think we can quickly wrap up the theory part so that we can get into the quiz and the practical part. This is one of the important topic which we get confused most of the time. So I want to take just 1 minute for this one. So as you know, like when we talk about the Boolean or any kind of expression, it has to be either true or false. So false will be like any kind of zero values or the values which is having nothing. So null you can consider, or like if it is integer then 0, if it is float 0 0.0, if it is complex 0j, or if it is a string then empty string, if it is list then empty list, empty dictionary, empty set. These are all false by default. And whichever is having any kind of value, whether it's a boolean for true or any kind of numbers which is non-zero, or any kind of string with at least one character, or any kind of non-empty data structure, then they are called as a true. So this is very, very important that you should know, so that based on that you can take a call like how your control flows. I'm sure you must be aware about the if, else if, and also I won't talk much about this. Only thing I want to tell in Python is you do not need to write in curly braces, and you just need to give one indent here, one tab. One tab is enough and Python will understand. That is called indentation in Python. The same way if, else if, I'm sure everyone knows that. And how you club and an OR operator, I'm sure everybody knows that. AND is when both the condition matches, and OR is when only one of the condition matches. This range is something that like very useful in Python. We will show in the next slide. And for loop, while loop, do while, everything is quite similar. But just wanted to like show how the difference is here. Like you take any kind of list or any kind of tuples, and you can write like for name in names, and just give a colon, and whatever you want to do your calculation you can do. You do not need to write like for I equal to 1 or I equal to 0. You do not need to initialize. You do not need to like give like the condition I is less than equal to or something, or then again doing increment or decrement of the value. So Python is like quite easy to write. It's very much textual kind of things. The way we used to write the text, very similar to how we write in the Python as well. So this is how one example of data and dictionary where key and values are being assigned. Nothing so new here. I'll just remove this and just kept this to understand like how percentage s is working, and whatever the values you are giving. This is very useful when you actually write the code in Python for your project purpose. Break and continue. I'm sure everyone knows this, so even I don't need to much talk about this one. When you want to some stop this one, your loop or your execution, then you use break, and if you want to continue the processing, then you use continue. So the output for, if you see in this case, what they are doing is we have 3149 the numbers, and then we are checking whether it's more than 8. If it is more than 8, then we are breaking. So that's what, like if it is not, then we are getting the square of that value. So for 3 we are getting 9, 1 we are getting, and all that. 1 we are getting 1, then 4 we are getting 16, and then 5 we are getting 25. The moment it comes to 9, we are coming out of the loop. So I think we all know this. This is one of the beauty of Python that I was talking about, range. So range, as I mentioned, like any kind of indexing or the range starts from 0 to n minus 1. So if I say like range 5, it will be going from 0 to 4. If I'm mentioning like 5 comma 10, then it will be like from 5 till 9. It will not be 10. It's like n to n minus 1. So it will be always 0 or the number to n minus 1. So if it is 10 here, it will be like 5 to 9. So you can see 5, 6, 8, even 9. And here you can, the beauty of Python is like any kind of method or function when you define their variable length. So if you see here, currently we given 1 and then 2, and now we are giving 3, because the third one is the step size. So here we are saying like go from 0 till 9, and step size is 2. So it's 0, 4, 2, 6, 8. So that's the beauty of Python, and that's why if you want to do this kind of coding, it's very easy in Python compared to any other programming language. I'm not saying they are bad, means still the market is there for C, C++, Java, but as I mentioned, like the world, what to say, goes to only the rising sun, right? So that's why you need to be uh, uh, learning the things and the technology which is important or which is demanding in the market. And Python, as you know, like it's in the very high demand. File output, I'll show in the example, but just to let you know, like, okay, write mode is there, append mode is there. Write, you know, like when you are writing into your file, it will be write mode. When you are appending in the sense at the end of file, if you want to insert some more records, then it's append. So the same way, read, write, binary, and all that. These are the different modes when you are dealing with the files. So let me quickly finish this one. You know, like how the modules are there, how you can import this. It's very similar to like has include studio.h and all. So I'll not talk much here. I'll just quickly stop, and then probably we can get started with the quiz. So just one joke here, like when you ask like how do the functions break up? So they stop calling each other. I'm sure like as a technical person, we know like what is function and how function calls. Just do let me know if you are not aware about this. Where can I show this? I need everyone to go through this slide. Meanwhile, you can ask your question. I'm sorry, Zoom is something that we do not use, so I'm not able to figure out. Allow me a moment where I
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
close.
Shao, sorry to interrupt you. Shall I share this link to students?
Yes, yes.
Can we
It will.
can we copy and put in the chat box?
Yeah,
Your
that's what I'm just looking for chat window, sir.
yeah.
Where is the chat window? Can somebody show me?
You just you find in the bottom track there are number of list is there, mute, video,
Yeah.
participation,
People
and the
are.
next to the participant chat box is there.
No, I'm not able to see. Can
No,
somebody?
no issue, no issue, no issue. You do one thing, you send to my WhatsApp, I'll circulate immediate.
Sure, that will also work, but I think it should be there. So allow me a moment. Shouldn't, or somebody can take my control. I'm just giving you control. Sir, I have given you the control. Maybe you can take.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Okay. Done.
Okay, all right. So yeah, please open this link and let's get started with the quiz, and then quickly we'll go for the actual use cases of Python.
Okay, click on this. Everyone go to that
Yeah,
chat box. Chat box.
yeah,
I have pasted the link.
yeah. In case you're not able to open, then do go through this one quiz quizzj.com, and then here you need to mention the code will come. This code is 9445284. This is what you need to do. Yeah, we can see multiple people. Let me know once everyone is able to log in. I'll just quickly, I think I need to log in. Allow me a moment. This is one of the very nice website where if you want to do a live quiz, you can go through it.
Okay.
Has everyone joined? I do not see people here. Why? Can you please go on mute? Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I can see now. I think 17 people already joined.
Okay.
Yeah. Shall
Yeah,
we get started? Yeah.
yeah. It is nice. This sound.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
moment is
Okay.
started.
Okay. Let's get started then. Yeah, you can see your screen and answer this one. The name is Dave, and you are going to print the name. So I'm sure everyone knows this. But only thing is like sometimes it will be coming as Dave, sometimes it will be Dave because this is string. So actually this should be the answer. I just giving like so that the ranking will be coming top for the others, and that's why I'll give the wrong answer. Okay.
Okay, okay.
What is variable? I'm sure everybody knows, but yeah, again I will do something else. This way, everyone. I hope everyone is doing this. Do that, please. Yeah. What is the command that we use to display? So I can see like score here. What should be the output? So Akshay is topping, and just before him, somebody with the name A is topping this quiz. So what is Python? I'm sure everybody knows this, but I'm just intentionally keeping wrong answers so that I can see like, yeah, Sanjana is topping, Simran is next to her. So when you have having either, I think everybody is getting different question, right? Or same question as I can see in my screen.
No, there are different
Yeah.
questions are coming. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now Abhishek is topping, Himanshu on the top, I think. Take your time and yeah, Himanshu is still topping this one. Yeah, he's still Himanshu on the top. Last three questions, take your time. I'm sure everybody, even like very, very newcomer will be knowing this. Anyone knows like why it is called as Python? It has nothing to nothing to do with the snack. Let me do the correct answer for this one. This is for the one of the movie that is called Monty Python. This is the correct answer.
So the question is randomized. Question is,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
for
yeah.
the, yeah, for participant to
This last,
participant.
yeah, yes, sir.
This is really interesting and a great platform where we can.
Yes, sir.
I'll
Yes.
take your inputs to develop this queues over there,
Sure, sure, sir, sure,
so
sir.
that we can have it have
Yeah,
good GUI.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure you know the answer, but I'll just do something like that. Let me select anything. And obviously I cannot mark this wrong. We know like what we are learning. So let me correct this one. So let's see the score now. Sometimes if you make any wrong question, then it will ask you to select any of the question which you want to correct. And based on whatever your lucky draw comes, you select it, then this will be coming. So Python is text based. So maybe you can see your ranks now. Himanshu, you did a very, very fantastic job. You scored 10,000 scores. Then
Yes.
Siddhartha next. Then A, I don't know who he or she is. Good job.
Who that name me? Let me find the name.
That's but yeah, great job. I would say like everyone has like very good score. I think except me who got the least score.
Yes, yes.
So this is the score of all the team members.
Congratulations, Ravi and Siddharth Garg,
Yeah.
Himanshu A. Can we have the name of A?
Can somebody tell who is A? Good job.
Put in the chat
Roshan.
box. Who is
Yeah.
A?
Yeah.
A.
Getting 70-80% is good. Quite good, I
Garvit,
would say.
Garvit, Garvit, Garvit.
Yeah.
He's our 30th student, computer science.
Yeah. Great. Great. I would say, sir, till 11th position, you will see like most of the people at least got 60-70%. So that's a good score. And probably we can continue the actual use cases of Python now.
Great,
So
great.
anything that who scored till 11th rank, I would say like, yeah, great job.
Okay, okay.
So let's see the real use cases of Python now. Your quiz is done. All right, from here I'll try to be a little slow so that you can understand. So in the real life scenario, when you join any kind of company, once you are done with your freshest life, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, clear loud.
Yeah. So as you know, like most of the people love about the data science, where we talk about the artificial intelligence and machine learning, or the business intelligence in which I belong to, like working on a data warehouse and all. So most of the time you have to deal with the what do we call it is like structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data, right? So now the thing has changed. Earlier we used to have only text file, CSV file, relational database. So all the data was quite very much a structured file. But nowadays, because of the big data and Hadoop, the data that you'll find is always the unstructured data, or most of the time semi-structured like XML kind of. So the first challenge that you will be facing is like you will be getting the data from multiple sources. Maybe somebody is sending data using Hive, or maybe somebody is sending using relational database like MySQL, or somebody is sending you data in a JSON file or XML file. So the objective for you would be to bring all this data together and do some kind of processing here, ETL processing, and then generate a report for the further analysis. But the biggest challenge that anybody face here is on the data munching part, like how you're going to clean your data. Because when we talk about unstructured data, your data will be having some kind of images, some kind of audios, videos. So as long as it's a structured data, you know like how to do kind of cleaning of the data. But when it is unstructured data, it becomes very difficult, right? So data munging or the cleaning is very important part in most of the technology wherever you go, because I'm sure everybody knows like even the big giants like Ambani's or uh, the the CEO of Microsoft or Apple, they will always say like data is the new oil. Earlier it was like the petroleum oil was the new oil, right? Means that was the bread and butter for everybody. But now data is the new oil. Data is everything. You will get everything up from the data. If you want to have one startup and just playing with the data, you can be a millionaire, a billionaire, you never know. So this is one of the important use case we are going to see very soon. And recently what I did is like it looks very small to export something in PDF, but when you actually start doing, actually like in my project, I connected to Tableau server. Tableau is again one of the BI tool, and when you are connecting to the server, and then on top of that you need to fetch the record from there and then convert into PDF, it becomes very difficult. Unfortunately, I'm not sharing the code, but in case you want to connect me on those kind of things, definitely you can reach out to me. I'll help you in case you have something similar to that one in your projects. Then we will be seeing a lot of graphs, like how we can analyze the data. So it could be like bar chart, line graph, or any kind of pie chart, those things. And there are so many tools that we have seen in Android, like Truecaller, where you can see the like this particular caller is from which provider or which country, or your music player. So this kind of tool, like just write 3 or 4 or 5 lines of Python code and you're done. So first, let's go for the data cleansing part, understanding this one. And I'm sure like everybody has watched the movie Titanic, and it's one of the favorite movie, and that's why we are going to see the data from Titanic.csv. So let me show the data. Actually, I kept into this input folder. This is my Titanic data. So if you see the data, it's in the comma separated CSV file, where passenger class is mentioned, and whether it survived or not, then name. Let me zoom it out. So this is your data, your passenger class, whether it survived or not, the name, the sex, age, and other thing you can skip because we are not going to talk more about like what is parts, and we'll be talking just about the fare and just to see like whether they survived or not. So this has the entire data from all the Titanic passenger who went through this one. But seeing this one, you cannot say anything about the data, right? You need some time to analyze, visualize this data, and then you can say about it. So that's what we are going to do now. So if you want to see like if I were there in the Titanic seat, what was my chance of being in the survival? Whether I could have survived or I would have died, or what is the ratio of male versus female into that particular ship? So those kind of question analysis and this thing we will see like how we analyze and what kind of conclusion we come into this sheet. But let's go for this. If I write typing the code, it will be taking time. So what I will do is I'll simply take the code and I'll just explain this what I have written. So let's take this one here. So instead of code, I would say like this is markdown. Allow me a moment, it got hanged up. Yeah. And now let me mark it as markdown so that it's clearly visible. Sorry, my bad. I should have kept in heading. Yeah. So let's start with some real life scenarios, how we can analyze the data and do some kind of data cleansing and munging here. So I'm taking the data, I'll explain first and then we'll run. So first line that you see is we are going to import pandas. So as you know, like Python is having a lot of different libraries and the modules. Panda is one of the famous library along with NumPy and the matplotlib in order to when you are visualizing the data. So there is something called data frame in Python that will give the records into rows and columns, and that we are going to use very frequently. So first I'm importing pandas. I have already installed pandas, and another reason why I use is initially my plan was to use IDLE, but problem was like when I install IDLE, let me show, because this question most of the people who are new in Python they will face. So if I want to install like Python, if I just do pip install and then say numpy if you want to install, then you will be facing a lot of issues because either your system variable is wrong or something else. And that's why I decided like I had the issue, and I recommend like go with Anaconda version so that you do not need to install individually whatever is required, whether it's a numpys or the pandas or anything. It will be getting done in some time. Meanwhile, I wanted to show like what kind of issues or error we get. Having some questions in chat window. And any questions here? I think I know how to fix this pip install pip win. Yeah, definitely we can. But what I'm saying here is in order to not to waste your time in installing or having some kind of issues, I'll show you. I think I'll be soon going to get this issue. Meanwhile, before it runs, let me explain what I was just typing. Yeah. So first thing is we are importing. That means we have already installed. And then there is something called read CSV method, which is going to, because we know like it's a CSV file. If it is XML file, then the method will be read underscore XML or read underscore Excel. So based on what kind of file you have, Python already provides this kind of libraries and the functions. And this value we are giving into this data frame called as a Titanic I have given. So let me just take this to. So with this, it should be able to execute this one. Now it has already taken the imported Panda and taken the value of this particular file into Titanic. So if I do now Titanic, in order to see the value of this one, then you can see like first few records of this one. Head and tail you can use. If I keep head here, then you can see first 5 or 10. Let me see. Yeah, first 5 records. The same way if you want to see the bottom 5, it will be tail function. So first we need to understand like what this data is, and then we are going to do some kind of calculation on top of it. So as we have already printed this data frame, now there is very nice function that is called as a describe. So normally when you have large data and you do not know like what is the average of this one, what is the mean or standard deviation, or if you are aware about this 25, 50 and 75 percentage, they are called as a quartile. 25% is called as first quartile, 50% is called as second quartile, 75% is called as a third quartile. So this tells like how much data is lying into this particular range. So if you see the fare, you can see like most of the fare, 75% of the fare is lying into close to this value 7031. So this is how just using one particular method you can get the details about this one. Then another thing that we want to see is like when we want to analyze this data, then first we should count the values, right? So you can see like out of this some uh, close to 1400 records we have. Allow me a moment, where is my DF? Yeah, you can see like 1310 passengers were there, and out of this 1309 10 passengers, I want to see like how many male and female are there. I can see like uh, 809 already lost their life and 500 only survived. And if I want to see into the percentage, then what I'll simply do is I'll multiply by 100 and divide by the size of this one, which is called as the length function. So you can see like close to 38% people survived and 61% died, because we are checking on the based on this particular column survived. So this survived value, if you can see like if it is 1, that means this particular guy, Lady Ellen Miss Elizabeth, she survived. If it is 0 means Helen Lionel, yeah, she died. So that's what we are seeing the value now, and we are going to analyze this data now. Let me know if you have any questions.
Any question can put in the chat box.
Yeah. Then we'll be talking about the data merging, and then we'll be going for the graphs. Feel free to stop me any point of time, because these are something that you are going to use in your actual IT industries. So now I'm going to use NumPy because I want to play with the data. Like as I mentioned, like you need to do data merging and cleansing. So if you see your actual data, let me show here. So if you see your data, there are some values which is not available. Like this body is not available for most of the people. In some cases, cabin number is not available for this kind of people. So when you do not have record, which is null, in database we call it null, N-U-L-L, but in Python we call it as a NaN. It's not available. So in order to deal with this kind of data, what we are going is we have the function called fill_na. If I do fill_na, it is going to fill those null value. Now with what value you want to fill? If you want to fill with 0, or if you want to fill with the average of those values, you can do that. Normally it will be either 0 or it will be the average of those values. That's what we do, but you can fill based on your business requirement. Sometimes business will say like, okay, if date is not there, say for date of dates, then by default they'll ask you to do kind of 2099-12-31st or 9999-99-99. So this kind of based on whatever the business says you, like put it as a default value you can give. But currently in our case, what we can give is, let us give 0 so that the actual calculation doesn't get impacted. So I'm giving fill_na and the value 0. So if I keep fill_na and the value 0, you can see like all the values are replaced with 0. But if I print now Titanic here, you will see that the values are not saved. Yeah, see this NaN is again coming. Why? Because in order to mark it like complete, what we need to do is we need to use one another function or the keyword that is called in place. Unless by default it is in place is true. If you are marking as a sorry, by default it is false. In order to save the changes, you need to mark it as a true. So before doing that, I'm just taking a backup of this particular file using the copy command into T2 variable, and then I'm changing the value. And here in this case, I'm giving fair as by default, say 100, or probably, yeah, let's give 100 as fair. And cabin number, wherever it's not available, I'm giving cabin number as C123. And now if I keep in place equal to true, and if I run this, now you can see this. Yeah, sorry, I was not checking cabin, I was checking somewhere else. So if you see cabin here, wherever the value is null, it's replaced with 1, 2, 3. I haven't given for all, and that's why I was wondering like why it's not reflecting here, because I haven't given for bed body. If I want you to give the body here, I can simply replace this particular column with say for body, and then let's give any value here. These are numerical, right? Yeah. So let me give 100.12, and then now if I see this here, it should reflect. Yeah, now the value of body has changed. So this is how, based on your business requirement, you need to understand, and then you need to do a data merging. This is one of the simplest example I can say, like, okay, replace this particular thing with the 0 value. Okay, let's now get little more detail on this, try to analyze like what this data is telling. Am I audible now? Seems like I got muted. Am I audible?
Yes, audible, audible. Carry on.
Yeah. So this is little complex. Let us try to understand. As you know, like Titanic is the data frame that you're using. And then we are taking one particular column called passenger class. So passenger class, we have like first class, second class, and third class. So if I'm taking the record where passenger class is 3. And I'm taking those record where the survival is 1. So that's why I'm just taking the survived. I am not explicitly mentioning like equal to true, because I know like by default it will check for the true. So if we have value, it is true. If it is not value, then false. Then I'm checking the count of this one and plotting this one into the bar graph so that I can properly see the data. Let's run this and see it. See this, as we mentioned, like close to some 30 to 40% people survived, and most of the 60% people died. And especially if it is 30%, sorry, class 3, then there is a higher chance that you will die. Let's see if it is having to related with their sex as well. So let me directly use this command where I'm taking passenger class is 3 and the person is male. Then what is his chance of survival? I'm using the same command, just I added one more condition here, and operator I have used. So if you see, if somebody is a male and traveling in the class 3 or the third class of the ship, then there is very less chance compared to the others. So with this you can see like let's take another example here where somebody is traveling in first class and gender is female. So now you can see the difference. One is somebody who survived, right? If it is male and traveling in class 3, then based on the data it suggests like you have very less chance that you could have survived. But if you are a female and traveling in class first, then very high chance of survival. So this is how you analyze the data and come to one particular conclusion when you have large data set. We are just seeing like 1,000 record, but when you go into the actual scenario, then it will not be in the thousands and lakhs. It will be in millions and billions and trillions. I'm not talking about the number of records or the number of rows and column. I'm talking about the size. And that's why it's important to know about the batch processing, like how your jobs are keep on running. So normally if you see your transaction, which is OLTP, right? If you are doing a bank transaction, it is OLTP transaction. Immediately you do something and your records are available. But most of the task by any kind of what to say, the industry or the banking, they go with the batch processing. So what happens is at the end of day, you can see your completely statement being generated, or once your month end completes and your records get generated. So those kind of things happen in the batch mode, because this kind of data you cannot do in one fraction of seconds. It is having like a lot of GBs of data every single day, and that's why we go with the batch processing. So the agenda to tell about this one is to tell you like, okay, we do not have just one, two, or five or thousand record, or even lakhs of records. It could be as huge as like you cannot think of. Also, sometimes your system will not support, and then you need to, and that's why I'm sure you must be aware about the cloud computing. Nowadays, AWS and Azure are is the high demand, right? Because those are having kind of elasticity. So the moment you want to change your space, as and when pay as you go model. So assuming like you are using some 100 terabyte of data per day, all of a sudden, if you see, for example, big billion days coming for Amazon and Flipkart, right? So in normal days, their transaction will be obviously high, but not as high as in the big billion days. So during those time, actually, this kind of industries, they need a lot of space. And that's why they are moving toward cloud, because as and when they need more storage, more space, more processors, then they can immediately jump into that one. So if I'm giving an example of just having one or two record, do not think like it's having just 100 or 1000 record. Your actual records will be way higher. Just for your understanding purpose, I'm giving like what kind of scenarios you face when you are actually working into the technology. Let us do some kind of more graphing the way, because I love graphs. My actual designation is onto the data warehouse and business intelligence side, where we need to extract the data from multiple sources, then do the ETL processing. ETL is extract, transform, and load, like ab initio and talent we use, and then we generate report out of using Tableau and MicroStrategy. But instead of going for Tableau and MicroStrategy, whose costs are very much, now the client is moving towards Python, because here you do not need any kind of cost here, right? So as a business, everybody want to save their money. So if something is available readily, open source, then why to waste your time or money on something that you can get it free of cost? But as a bank, yeah, definitely security matters, and that's why it's not very like 100% being utilized. But at the same time, it's in big boom, and people have started using it. So let us see another example how we are generating one another line graph. So for this one, I'm taking one matplotlib. I'm just importing that one, giving some random value of x and the y, and I'm plotting this one. So if you see here, x and y axis, if I'm giving 1 versus 3, then 2 versus 4, this kind of value, right? X and y. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 7, 5, 2. So this way we can generate the graphs. There are a lot many functions here. We can change, we can customize. If the time permit, I'll explain on this, but I do not want, because again, I need to be jumping to some other meetings. So let me quickly finish this first, and maybe we can go for the question answer round soon. We are in slide number 45, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, 5:20 we can have five. If you wish, you can continue for the next 5 minutes, and then we can have
Sure, sure.
quickly 5 to 10 minutes quickly.
Sure, sure. I'll quickly to wrap it up, sir. Yeah, let me show them like how it actually looks. So pie chart also, it's very, very easy to write in Python, and like a hash is for the comment. So that's why I haven't used much of hash, so that you get only limited data. So here, if you see for the cars, we have given name like Audi, BMW, Ford. These are the different cars names and their data, how the market share is there. So this way you can see like pie chart is immediately created. This kind of things when you are doing in any kind of, say for example, you want to do data visualization using Excel, then also you will be needing a lot of efforts. You need to do the data pivot, and then do kind of calculation there to get this kind of charts. But using Python, it's like very easy, and most importantly, uh, it's open source. So
Yes.
you do not need to worry much about it. If you are stuck anywhere, you can reach out to me or your faculty members, or even if you Google it in the Stack Overflow, you will find it. If you see the example for this particular, we are just importing. This is called uh, mixer within this Py game. And when you are just giving the file name and just clicking, giving one particular command, mixer.music.play, and it will play the music for you. As simple as that. So it's very, very easy to use kind of tool, and these kind of things are very much utilized into business scenarios. Like if you see you will find it even if you see like currently we used to see the cricket score using Crickbudge or something, right? So you can write your own code which will be sending you every 1 minute the cricket update using your WhatsApp or SMS. So those kind of you can write just 4 or 5 or 6 line of code and you will be able to do. You can do some kind of voice recordings tool. Chat box is something very famous nowadays. Like everybody want to create their own bot, so that based on like somebody is visiting your website, the bot should be able to handle the basic question uh, about your product or your website or about your whatever it is. So this kind of things is very, very easy to create and build and prepare in Python. I remember like I worked in mainframe some 7 years back, and believe me, in order to print one record, you need to write close to 30 to 40 lines of code. And that time I remember my manager used to say like when you're writing Python code, sorry, not Python code, the mainframe code, to generate one report for the federal bodies, they used to write close to 7,000 to 8,000 number of records. But now if you see, it's just 4 or 5 lines, or maximum 6, 7, or maximum 10 lines. So that is the beauty of technology here. And that to that time in the mainframe, you cannot visualize the data the way that, how we are seeing here. We cannot see this kind of graph that time using the mainframe. So that is the beauty of technology and how it is evolving. The other thing that most of the people ask me, like, okay, they want to get certified, because this also uh, brings an upper hand to you when you have some kind of certification. So if you are Java certified, Sun certified associate, Oracle certified, or if you're working in Python, then this kind of certifications are available. And entry level, it's called PCEP, a Python certified entry level. Then the intermediate level, which is called associate, PCAP, so Python certified associate. And then the high level, which is the professional. Like if you have this kind of certification, then even like always if you are lucky enough like me to get placed in college, definitely it's really great help. But if you are not, then definitely this kind of certification, or even if you have placed in some kind of company, like say for example, I'm working in one of the reputed and top class bank in America. So still we have been recommended, or we have been told, and that's why if you have seen in my initial signature, like I'm Tableau certified, I'm DB2 certified, and now I'm planning to do some Python certification. So these kind of things are very, very useful, and try it and let me know if you need any kind of help. These are the different references I'm keeping it for you, so that in order to learn more, you can go through it. With this, I would like to thank everyone for bearing with me, and special thanks to Sanjeev sir and the entire faculty members of ICFI Tech. Over to you, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm very happy, and I say strongly and loudly, this whole presentation I can expect from our groom student. So the way you have presented and given the exposure of right from this basic to the advanced, it is a really, really a tremendous job you have done through the last it's exact 1 hour. Let's count another 9 minutes. 1 hour now, 9 minutes. You have this one way you have taken the session. It was really learning for me and for my students. So I'll take the it's an opportunity for the student those who are participating into that many of you have done very beautifully. You have contributed in the Q section. Now it's an opportunity to have your own feeling question answer session. You can post your question to this chat box. I'll take by one, and quickly I'll request this uh, Prakash to give this a brief clarity to this student. So I have listed with me. There are the three question already listed in this chat box. There is one student raised. This is our first year student raised the question. This uh, the platform which is a better platform, Python and JS.
JavaScript.
Yeah, JavaScript.
Okay. So actually, again, I would like to say like no platform is good and bad. But if you're too good in C, like Dennis Ritchie, definitely you will earn the job. If you are too good in Java, definitely you can get a place in this. Even as I'm given the example of mainframe, where we used to write some close to 8,000 records just to generate one record. So no technology is bad and good, but at the same time, it's important to like know that one and be a master on that one. And at the same time, I prefer to switch technologies because the IT industries demands like you need to be like flexible enough. When you give any kind of interviews, they will not only see like how good your score is, whether you are a 10 pointer or 9 pointer or 6 pointer, it doesn't matter. What it matters is whether you are able to handle the situation. Because in IT industry, you need to deal with a lot of pressure. Sometimes the deliverables are coming very close to you, and you need to be flexible enough to take some new challenges, work hard. Sometimes you need to work day and night also. Sometimes this happens to us also. I'm working till late of night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. This happens some bad days, not always. So my recommendation would be Python, but at the same time, if you think like you want to go for the web designing and you want to do for the client side validation, which is JavaScript, so it is your call, I would say, but I would prefer to go with the latest technologies like Python because everybody is moving into it, and you can see how job is getting a. You can open LinkedIn or any kind of website, and you can see like how Python is capturing the market. So I would say like my vote will go for Python, but it's important to be like you should be interested in that. If I would say like okay, go for Python and you're not interested in Python and you're very much good in JavaScript, then I'm saying like you are wasting your time in Python. You should follow your passion, listen your passion, which is very very important, and based on your passion, go for the technology and be a pro or master on that technology.
So is there any chance to use the Python in the field of nanotechnology like material and uh, some other component for judging their smartness, sensor and all?
Yeah, definitely, sir. If you see, Python supports a lot of things on the AI part, right? So when we talk about nanotechnology, also, I think recently I saw one example. I'm not able to recall it, but that example tells like how we are seeing the people like face recognition, right? Nowadays, using the this kind of programming language, they are able to detect the face, and based on like how close proximity of one people is to another, they can figure out like okay, one person is having COVID and the person is going into the real market, and the CCTV captures his photo or video. So based on the analysis or the movement of that particular person, it can tell or the predict about the other person, like whether he is going to have COVID or not. So I think I missed that slide, but it's mentioned somewhere, I think, or I forgot to keep it. It's like limitation is only in your thought. It's not into your, yeah, this line I would like to repeat here, that any kind of thing that you want to do, limitation is only in your thought. As long as you broaden your thoughts process, you can do anything. Like when I joined Capgemini some 8 years ago. That time Uber and Ola was quite new. People were not ready to go and use those kind of online taxis. But nowadays, if you see, like almost 90% people, whoever at least IT industries, whenever we go out for any kind of reason, whether it's a party or going hometown or going to airport, we always prefer to go with Ola or Uber, unless you want to drive your own car. So that's how the situation changes, and that's why you need to see like where you can figure out like what is the problem the market is facing, get one solution for that one and work on it. And definitely any kind of technology you can do it, and I would say like Python can also work into the nanotechnology as well.
Great. So there is the couple of questions I'll take further quickly. So there is
Yeah.
one of them is whether it is a useful to develop operating system.
I'm sorry, I did not get when you
Yeah,
ask like
OS,
useful to develop
OS,
operating
OS,
system.
OS development. Whether it is a compatible language to develop the operating system like Windows and Linux and other
Okay, so the
open.
actual ask is to develop one operating system out of
Yes,
Python, right?
yes.
I think it can be, but I'm really sorry. I will not be able to tell that much detail because, as you know, like operating system itself is a very, very huge program, right? It's one of
Yes.
the like
Largest,
yeah
largest.
largest software in your your monitor or the system or the mobile or the laptop, whatever you're using. So operating system is the heart of your entire laptop or the computer system. So probably it can be done, but I'm not sure like up to what extent you can go. And believe me, like in case you can develop one operating system, then it will be like a revolution in the market. Like currently, it's being taken care by Windows and most of the time, or the Linux operating system, Red Hat, OpenSUSE. But we have very limited, close to 8 or 10 operating system, I would say. But if you can develop, yeah, definitely it's going to like. Believe me, if you develop one operating system, whether you use Python or not, directly either Google or Microsoft will hire you.
It's an
That I can assure
opportunity.
you.
It's an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's not easy to develop those kind of codes. It's like
And there is
you
a
will get errors.
one
Yeah.
very friendly question that is generally the student used to ask, like, what is the culture when we work with the corporate? You know, the
Yeah.
comfort level and their pressure and all balance. What is the
Yeah.
culture in the day-to-day activity when we work in the high corporate and reputed industry,
Yeah.
like you are working?
Yeah, so definitely, I would say like corporate life is very good, and that's why I would say like some 20 years back, it was so awesome. Like everybody wanted to be engineers and doctor. Even if you see, parents will say like, okay, my kid is going to be an engineer or doctor. So that much boom was there, and it still is there. The only thing is like the inflation has changed. Like cost of living has increased, and at the same time, this ratio and proportion, if you see, it's not that much, but it's still good enough. Like getting at least 1 lakh rupee when you're having close to 6 or 7 years experience, it's not bad, right? Like if you see our teachers themselves, they are working at least from morning 8 or 9 o'clock till late night, at least evening 6 o'clock, then again going back home, doing your assignments, checking your projects. And I think as a teacher, definitely it's a proud moment, but getting close to 50 or 60,000. But here, there is no limit. Means on an average, I would say like if you are having 6, 7, or 8 years of experience, minimum salary what you can expect is minimum 1.2 lakh, I would say. And with this, I think easily you can have afford a very good life. And at the same time, when we talk about work-life balance, it will again depend upon your project and the company. Sometimes the small company also have very good life, and sometimes the big company has also work little issue with the work life. But overall, what I have seen is like if you are into the captive company, product-based company like JPMC or Wells Fargo or Microsoft or Google, definitely your life will be good, your salary will be good, and at the same time your pay scale will be good.
Yes, so I'll take this is the last one question from, then we'll proceed for this the closing the session. This is the last question. Can you suggest some of useful project so that our student can practice over there?
Sure, sir. I can share them, but as I mentioned, like no project is bad or good, or like nothing is bad or good. You need to see like what business case you're solving. Say just as I mentioned the example of Uber and Ola. If you can think something like you need to see the what is missing in the market. What I feel is like currently everybody is now online and joining from home. So all of a sudden recently we boycotted Chinese product, right? So the moment anybody is bringing any kind of Indian product which can give competition to those kind of Chinese product, definitely it will be not only good as a your project side, but at the same time you can be millionaire if you start one startup and having those kind of ideas like replacement of cam scanner, replacement of any kind of audio tool or video tool or any kind of tool that you use, because mobile is something that everybody use, right? So like college life, if you want to do a small project, you can do in any of the thing, like whether you can create say inventory management or library management, those kind of project that we used to do in our college life
Yes,
in
yes.
Java. But because we have the flexibility to do in Python, we do not need to write those many codes that we used to do in Java. Then I would say like do some kind of applications which can be used in your own system. Like if you install this kind of music players and this kind of things, and call recorder, call getting the details about the customer, or any kind of secured. I would say like the ocean is there in the data, right? And the security also lies. So if you can do some kind of projects where you are encrypting the data, keeping it password protected, those kind of things, then definitely the big market leaders like the banks and the financial institution, they're going to like it, because security is very important. So if you can do something on about security, very soon you are going to have some session on the networking and the securities, most probably by Srikant, I would say, or maybe Dhananjay, or maybe combination of those. So you are going to learn about the securities to try to integrate security with your coding. And if you have a coding which is secure enough, believe me, you are a billionaire.
Will take your inputs, and I'll wish, say, you should keep motivating our student time to time. It's our request to and bring some of more equally intellectual, our asset. I should call this my alumni all our asset. If I take department, bring them and share with their, because see, I attended your whole session, so lot of you have covered the almost whole corporate, how to start from your base to the advanced level. This is overall. I'll request you again one this Sau, if you over a mail you can share some
Sure,
of good links, this like website links, some of books material, so that same can be circulated among the student.
sure, sir. I'll,
And
I'll share this PPT, and I have given some reference, but on top
yes,
of that, yeah, I'll add this.
and one
Yeah.
more, one more happy news I would like to share with you. Due to this changing in the market requirement, we time to time keep update our labs and infrastructure also. We have recently set up and inaugurated the AI lab. In that, this AI lab and the machine learning. So we have high configured systems also here now. This is an opportunity for the student to develop their projects, to test, and like we have the backend support, our corporate friend, our alumni can support, and with the faculty and the student are an alumni. I wish we should take forward the ICFI Tech School in a greater position. So now I'll request Dean Sir, Professor G.F. Chakravarti Sir, to please speak about the event, and uh, I wish you please share your best wishes to our speaker and our this attendees, those are attending the program.
So thank you, Sanju sir, giving this one, and thank you very much, Mr. This Sahu, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have given the good exposure to our new aspirants in the market as per the this what we can call your global market. So they know what is the things are happening in the market. First thing that what you have given the exposure is the better exposure to our students and everyone, your friends only. These are also when they are coming into the market, and at the same time we are expecting the same output, means that is the reciprocation should be there. Once you are hearing the things, at the same time the student has to respect, and they have to follow the things. Otherwise the talk series or the suggestions, everything should be a something time, there is a limitation. So you have to come out, the student have to come out with their ideas and their knowledge sharing, then only the things will come very useful to the society or the useful to the market. So be in touch with the all the seniors who are in giving this session series. So the all the students should be think about beyond your limits. Otherwise simply you can come to the exam and you can write and you can get the degree is not useful. As for the engineering, especially engineering line concern, you have to come out with your new thoughts and new ideas, what we can do, right? Thank you,
Yeah,
so
very true,
once
sir.
again, uh,
Thank you so much, sir, Chakravarti, sir.
right, thank you.
Yeah,
So
another thing, yeah,
yeah,
just sorry
yeah,
to
yes,
interrupt, sir.
now, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
because few folks they prefer to go into the government jobs. So do let me know, like not only my school friends, college friend, but also the school friends. After seeing this particular, they were interested, and I think I have to join, but because of some meeting consent, probably they will not be talking. But just to name a few of my friends who are in the government job, like scientist in ISRO, Mr. Gopendra Patel, and the engineer in BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, Mr. Agnivesh Gupta. They wanted to join this session, and I am sure they might have joined. And they wanted to convey, like, in case of anything that you need, not only into the IT industry, but if you want to go into the government
Government.
sector in order to serve the nation, then do let us know.
Thank you, thank
Stay
you.
connected. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, sir.
Thank you, Shahu, for sharing this all useful and in detailed input for our student, our faculty, and connecting. We are honored to have you we are simply though we are sitting in a different location. I still feel like you are in my class, and we are just having there's a debate over there for trending and technology. It's a really great session. I should say, for on behalf of ICFI Tech Schools, ICFI University Dehradun, from Higher Authority and from Dean Sai, my faculty, and the best wishes to you and to your family. You grow, you gain more and more designation, and I wish you should be a shortly will be you recently, like day before yesterday, you shared me,
Yes, sir.
sir. I
Yeah.
was appointed recently. My designation
Yes.
was updated to assistant vice president. I want to see you, uh, in a short span of time, you will be president of the company, and keep motivating our student and touch with us. Best wishes on behalf of whole ICFI team. Thank you very much for sharing this useful inputs to our student, to us, and we are proud to have you in the session. With these words, I would like to conclude the session, and the whole credit. I should speak his name. This in between this are one of our his classmates, our classmate, the Ritik
Yes.
is working, and probably there are a number of the great speaker, those who are, I should say, bond in that respective domain. They are in the line. So probably by the fortnightly or weekly, we'll try to have the session with our alumni. So our alumni, our pride. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay connected with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Akhilesh sir. So I'll take this permission on behalf of our technical support. So thank you, Akhilesh sir. Coordinating team, student volunteers, all are stay happy. Let me close the session. Ciao.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Good job.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Good job.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. I need to attend a meeting at 6, so need to
Yes,
drop
yes.
off.
Take
Thank you, sir.